In case I get logged out, I'll log in again. So that's just for information because
Yes,
I just
ma'am. No.
logged out a few minutes back. So just to let you know.
Sure.
Yes, because yeah, in fact, we were just going to call you and then I saw that you're back. I think that there is a network issues at times, so people.
Yeah.
So I'm starting it off, Ashwin.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. So a very warm welcome, dear students. I would like to emphasize on the word warm because I think all of you are in a cold on deciding how to choose the right academic institution for you. There's been so much of confusion, and to break all the confusion, we have a very esteemed panel for you. I heartily welcome all the students and parents to this very engaging topic today. The factors to consider while choosing a higher education institution during this pandemic. I think the students' uncertainties during this COVID time has really picked up, and parents and students are quite in a dilemma of how to choose the right institution, how to choose the right course. With so much of clutter on news, on WhatsApp, they are really in a question mark. So to break all your queries, to help you answer all that, we have a very esteemed panel today. Before I go on and introduce the moderator, I would also like to add on. I would like to also add on that we have the virtual admissions fair, which is live right now. And this webinar is an extension of the virtual admissions fair, which we are organizing. So students, please make the best use of it. We have more than 30 universities participating with the admissions team who are right there waiting to talk to you on a video chat, on a WhatsApp or on a phone call. You can talk to them, engage with them, download brochures, get to know about their fee structure, and best of all, many of them are also offering scholarships, so make the best use of it. And with that, I would like to convey my special thanks to QS iGauge, who are the knowledge partner who helped us curate this session. Thank you, Ashwin. Our moderator for today is Mr. Ashwin Fernandez, Dr. Ashwin Fernandez, based out of, I'm sorry, I just can't replace Mr. with the doctor, that's not fair. So let me repeat, Dr. Ashwin Fernandez, welcome. Based out of Singapore, Ashwin has been with QS Group since 2012. In his current role as the regional director, he works closely with universities in Middle East, North Africa, and South Asia. Ashwin is also the part of the founding leadership team of QS iGauge and was instrumental in establishing QS iGauge, which is India's first nationwide higher education rating system for college and universities. So Ashwin, welcome, and I'll give the mic to you. So let's start off.
Thank you so much, Steve, and a very good afternoon to all you students, parents, and perhaps some academics as well who are joining in from various institutions. I would like to warmly welcome our esteemed panelists who have made time for you, dear students, to answer all those questions you have before you choose the right institution today. So welcome to the virtual admission fair webinar organized by Affairs and QS iGauge, right for you, right in the comfort of your home. I have 4 panelists today, and I'll quickly introduce this panelist. The reason I'm going to do a little bit more introduction about the panelists is that if you have a specific question about a particular program, which is a specialization of one of our panelists, you can also make that known in the chat function of Zoom or in Facebook if you're looking at watching this on Facebook. So first and foremost, our first panelist, Professor Dr. Padmakali Banerjee, who's the Pro Vice Chancellor of Amity University from Gurugram, Haryana, and has been with the Amity Group for over 10 years. She was also the founding dean of the IILM Institute of Higher Education. She has a PhD, MA, and MPhil from Delhi University. She has spearheaded many innovative initiatives like the flexible credit system, industry-university integration, internationalization, and establishment of centers of excellence in her time with Amity. Welcome, ma'am, and it's great to have you with us. Our second panelist, Dr. Tabrez Ahmad, is Pro Vice Chancellor and Dean School of Law at GD Goenka University, also situated not exactly in Gurugram, but I think on the very close to Gurugram. He is also the National Vice President of the Law Teachers Division, India chapter of International Council of Jurists, ICJ London, United Kingdom, and the Chair, Legal Education Section of Indian National Bar Association. Dr. Tabrez has a doctorate in cyber law and IPR from AMU Aligarh. Welcome, Dr. Tabrez. Great to have you also with us today. We'll go over to Mr. Senthil Kumar, Director, International Sales and Business Development at Global University Systems, the parent group which runs the University of Petroleum and Energy Studies, UPES in Dehradun, and Pearl Academy in Delhi. So Senthil is an experienced director of admissions with many years of experience and demonstrated history of working in the education management industry. He has counseled, coached, and facilitated the right admission process for thousands of students. Welcome, Mr. Senthil. Great to as well have you with us today. And finally, Mr. Ankur Vohra, Head of Outreach and International Admissions at OP Jindal Global University. He's a senior international education and career guidance professional, having worked and traveled to over 35 countries around the globe. Ankur has rich and niche experience in advising students on making a good career choice for many thousands of students in his career at OP Jindal and prior as well at several top universities in India. So welcome, dear panelists. Great to have you. Our students are very excited. I can see the questions already coming in. And I'm going to start off with my first question. And that will go on first to Dr. Banerjee, and we'll move around the table. So we are very certain there is no vaccine right now or any cure for COVID-19. And students are worried what's going to happen. Universities will begin in September. And yesterday, one of the panelists made a comment of a gap year, whereas some students do not want to take that chance because employability is so important for many students of India. And what do you think would be the most important factors, Dr. Banerjee, which students should look for in the online fair today or information session to select the right university?
So very good afternoon and good evening to all the students who are participating in this great fair and online virtual fair with the comfort, from the comfort of your home. So that is the very first thing, that you are at ease. You're not sweating out in the Delhi heat or the any parts of India, because although it is monsoon, still it's quite warm. So one of the things that I really want to tell you, that, my heart goes out to each one of you, because you are the learners in crisis. Because if you look at, none of us in this panel have ever witnessed a pandemic that you're witnessing. So I must tell you that using this opportunity for your advantage is one of the things that comes to my mind. For example, if you look at, there is a lot of reflection that one needs to do. And this time that you got inside the home, away from the hustle bustle, and it has given you a lot of time to reflect and try to take up a good decision, that what are the kind of career. I don't think a pandemic can tell you now not to do a particular program that you're intending to do. So although this is a short term or maybe a little long term, because we are all talking about a new normal, we are all talking about a world which is going to be very different. Although there would be a mix of, I see a hybrid structure where there would be initially in the few months to come, you may move on in an online platform and then slowly move on to a more hybrid. There has been a lot of disruption that has taken place in the last about 10 years. And this disruption has been for good, because most of the good universities in India were prepared. So seamlessly, I saw whether it were K-12 schools or higher education institutions and universities seamlessly could move on to an online platform. So what I see that, of course, there is a crisis. Of course, there are some problems that you will see, but I don't think you should be in a hurry of changing any decision that you want to. I've been talking to youth, not only from our university, but also to a large number of public. And one thing that I've seen, that they're very determined. They're talking to a counselor, they're talking to people from the fraternity, they're talking to the school teachers, the principals. So I think please follow your heart. Don't change your dream or the thoughts that you have. So definitely it would be a little uphill task for the next few months, but I'm sure you will see a better future. And I would also tell you that urge each one of you to become a change agent. Some of the great ideas which has come in my university have been even from youngsters in the first years who have come out with a great patenting idea or a great solution to a social problem that we are seeing. So go ahead and pull up your socks and get ready and face the world. Thank you.
A great message there, Dr. Banerjee. Face the world, and it is going to be an uphill task, but you should be ready for it. With that, Dr. Ahmad, what do you think? Besides ready to brace what's ahead of us, with at least the first 6 months of the first academic year going to be online, what is there which students should look for and ask for with universities as they proceed to select the right institution at this time when they are looking around in an admissions fair or perhaps online or so on? So over to you, Dr. Ahmad.
Thank you, Dr. Ashwin. I think they should not be hurry. They should try to take a very thoughtful decision right now, because we are going to have the normal condition very quickly, maybe 3-4 months down the line. So for any good university, I think the best part is that teaching learning process. And also keeping in mind the COVID-19, they have to see the remote access and online journals and the e-books and online content. Because in India, the serious problem is that till now we are not able to very exhaustive content is created in the online mode. We are relying on the foreign journals and on foreign e-books. So any university who is able to really do great job in having the e-books and remote access and online journals, and also the technology part is very important, the platform. How equipped they are in the platform and how the faculty and students are trained to get the real benefits in this online model. Because nobody was having this experience, rightly mentioned by the Dr. Padma, that for the first time, everybody is feeling this kind of the problem. But best part is that now everybody has realized the importance and power of the online education system. Because myself was the great promoter of the idea of the online model, blended model. And then because of our attitude and personality and of the lack of awareness, we are not really imbibing the idea of the online mode. But because of COVID-19, we realized, we experimented, seen the benefits of the online mode, blended mode, and see it has a lot of the options, a lot of the benefits. And also it has a lot of the value addition for everybody, faculty, student, and also for the parents. Because they can save a lot of time they're wasting in the kind of the transportation and all these things. Now they can utilize all these potential, all the energy in the learning methods. Regarding the creation of the content, I think faculty now they have to concentrate that only they have to have the very value added, very important updated content. Because currently the major problem with those universities who are not able to having the very good online library, the faculty they're actually depending on the Facebook and all the material in open source, because there is no the cross check. For example, some are working and depending on the Wikipedia, so there is no verification of the document and content and updates that what they're actually learning right now. Because any kind of the wrong learning right now will be a serious problem in future for the students. So that's why they have to see that whether faculty qualification and the students' strength is that, because how they're going to digest the content given by the faculty. And now the serious problem is that regarding the assessment model, with the university and faculty, they're really able to find out whether learning is happening or not, how much they are learning. Because in the physical mode, faculty can easily find out the learning standard of the students, and they can do intervention in between them to find and ensure learning happening. Because in the online mode, it is very challenging to find out learning level happening or not happening. So that's why what I feel that teaching learning process is very, very important process right now. And any university, if we can ensure the learning happen properly in this COVID-19, it will be great benefit for all the student and all the university system. Thank you.
Well, that's a fantastic answer, Dr. Ahmad, and asking the finding out the teaching learning processes, qualification of the faculty is required. So my next question related to the same thing is to Mr. Senthil. What are the right questions the student should ask the institution? We all know that this should be the right, they should have the right qualifications, but when you're talking to admission counselors or online, what's the right questions to ask them?
Yeah, thanks, Ashwin. First of all, very good afternoon, good evening to everyone. There are certain myth normally happens with so many students in choosing the right set of education institution. First of all, the right question, Ashwin, we very rightly put the right questions. So let's understand higher education is much more personalized education. It's very unique to every single individual who want to undergo that. So certain questions like, for example, there are a lot of confusion in minds of students between government and private. This question is not common in case of schools, but in higher education, this becomes a very important question. Rather than the right question to ask is not government or private, asking about recognition, accreditation, and ranking, that's the right set of question they should continue to ask. Second important myth is most of the people have confusion between the campus and a course. So, for example, if I need to study a particular program or a course, I should choose the campus secondly, first is the program. For example, a lot of kids try to make this generic error on choosing a campus first, then the program. So that not be viable for most of the students. So checking whether the course is apt for me is the first and important point. And secondly, certain questions like for example, people ask about is point on how old is this institution? How old? Old is equivalent to the broader new idea is old is safer. The more the old is, the more the dynamic might be lagging in those institutions. Apart from that, certain other areas like asking about agility and is the institution future ready is an important question at this context. Asking about other information like international exposure, industry connect and access also becomes a very prominent question now because picking up a right university is a life altering decision. So we should ask these questions before choosing the higher education.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mr. Senthil. Moving on from there, while asking them about all these questions, I would like to ask Mr. Ankur, what do you think, and I'm going to focus on online here, because for the next 6 months, we know everything is going to happen online. We know the technology probably is similar to all the institutions. What are the right questions for students to ask for online delivery of courses for the next few months after they know which program they would like to go for? Over to you, Mr. Ankur.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ashwin. A very good evening to all our listeners and my fellow panelists. I think I was listening to the question that you asked to Senthil, and I just want to go back to that question once and take a question that for the last 12 years, I've been working in the higher education sector. And, the first question, 99%, the first question that the Indian parent will ask, what are the job prospects? What is the average salary that my student will get after graduating for their course? And I will be happy to answer that question, but then the follow-up question never comes. They do not ask what will be the faculty. They do not ask what is the curriculum. They do not ask if the course is the right fit for their child or if whether the child should be pursuing that course. They do not ask anything about that. The only thing they are worried about is the average salary. Now, that is a question that may be valid, but probably fifth or sixth question down the line can be that question. So that's a field that I work in and that I believe is the perfect question. Is to ask about like we at OP Jindal in our counseling talk about 6 major factors that a student should decide their university choice on, and this applies to any university across India or across the world. What are the faculty? What are the alumni outcomes? What are the infrastructure available? And these days in the COVID pandemic, we are very, very concerned about the infrastructure, both physical, online, health. Those infrastructures are very, very important for us. What is the ranking and accreditation of that university? The student life, the curriculum is very important. What is the kind of... So those factors still remain important even in these days of COVID and pandemic, and they become more important because of a university, if it's globally ranked, if it's ranked in the country, it's ranked abroad, and it has quality faculty, then it will be able to survive these uncertain and exceptional times that we are living in, and it will make sure that its students get the best of opportunities. Now, coming to your question about online learning, I think online learning is something that we at JGU adapted very fast to, and we could do that because of our visionary leadership and the faculty that we have, the amazing faculty that we have. But I think one of the first things that they should look for is some kind of certification. I know for a fact JGU, along with some Indian universities, were the first to have iGauge certification from QS, which made sure that we are having those credentials to compete with the best of the universities in the world in terms of our online teaching. So QS has already accredited us with that certificate. You should also talk to our alumni who are current students who have been going for online teaching for this last 4 months now. Ever since March stepped in, all our courses have been run successfully online. All our examinations have been conducted online. So there is already a set mass of students there in the university, and I'm sure that's the case for all the universities, who can talk about their online learning experience, how they have adapted from physical classroom teaching to online, and that's a criteria that students can look into. So I think that's my 2 cents about online learning and how they should be asking that question.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Ankur. So I have got some questions from the audience, and I like to put it as they come in. I will change it a bit to make some sense of it. So I have one question coming in from a student which says, which college or university would you suggest for an average ST student for BCom, honors, or BBA? Now, I would like to change this context into which college/university, into what does the student need to look at? Is it job prospects? Does the student need to look at getting into a government job after this? So anybody from the panel, I think I'll open this up to anyone who'd like to take it. How they should select a BCom honors or a BBA course in this time currently?
Possibly, I'd like to
I would
share.
like to answer this query.
Okay. Dr.
Because
Banerjee,
this is not a professional course, BBA, BCom, or BA courses. What they will see that they should see the long-term perspective, because they may go for the further studies, PG and PhD. So that's why they should see more depth in the learning process. So faculty is very important, and also library is very important, and also whether the university has a kind of collaboration with the foreign universities. Because in education sector, especially in academics, in these plain areas, unless you go to the highest level and do some higher studies, there is no proper career. So to choose a school or choose university in these areas, faculty, library, and foreign collaborations are very important, and also the kind of ambience, because you have to see the kind of research happening in these areas, because unless until you are a good researcher and you get proper scope and ambience to do research, innovations, you cannot have very good career in these kind of the plain areas. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmad. So, Dr. Banerjee, if you'd like to...
Yes, I think, I just wanted to tell the students that, it's a great question. I think it's in everybody's mind that where do I go from here? So one of the things that I must tell each one of you is that whatever course you're doing now, whether you're doing engineering or you're doing a BBA or a BCom, specifically to BCom, by the time you graduate, many of the job roles may change. So please treat this that you need to create a very strong knowledge base, because what is going to help you, even in the times of artificial intelligence, one of the things that's going to remain is your decision-making capability of the experts, the leaders. So try to see that a university which has robust, foundation in terms of curriculum, in terms of the great institution, in terms of intellectual capital, not only in terms of resources, but the faculty that you have. And I also believe in a lot of interface that is needed. I talk about basically 3 I's. One is your innovation in teaching, learning, design, pedagogy. The second is the industry integration in terms of how well you're able to do immersion projects with the industry, how many live projects are there. And the third vertical, which is your international exposure in terms of internationalization. So not only it could be a study abroad program, it could be learning in, online platform with peers from all around the world in a peer learning environment. So if you look at these three I's in any institution, and if you see that you're able to get all of that in that institution, you may try to look at it. And finally, peer learning is going to be great. So you must look at where and how you're going to get the best kind of brains coming into the classroom. So there is going to be a lot of learning that you do even in a remote mode, because even in my, we look at our classrooms have changed now on an online mode. Still there are like breakout rooms, you're working on a common project on real time. So it is very interesting. So this is something which I would like to tell you, that decide, follow your dreams and look at which institution will give you those kind of exposure.
Thank you so much, Dr. Banerjee. The next question I have, and I probably think Mr. Senthil might be the right person, but I'm not sure. It's a question from Prajit Tracy, which says, is it all right to go for aeronautical engineering now, considering the downfall of aviation industry? I'm not sure if your GUS just offers this at not just India, but across the world at some of your institutions. So maybe you'd like to share a little bit about this with us, Mr. Senthil?
Sure. UPS offers aviation area. So in terms of avionics and aerospace engineering is a part of the programs in offer. So considering the choice of the program should never limit to what you want to see immediate future. It should have a long-term perspective, because if you are passionate in that particular space, you can do a lot of innovation in that. And no program, for example, one of the common question, most of the parents ask is, sir, tell me a good program. So this has been a constant question across so many institutions where I worked in. I gave them the program offering information and asked them, tell me one bad program in that. So there is nothing called a good and bad program. Looking at what is your interest and what is your passion, that should drive down to how to choose particular program. And particularly, every single industry is going to have certain amount of depression, and once it's come back, every sector is going to shine as well. So if you're passionate in aerospace, then it can be a bright career option for you. Aerospace is not just only limited to the domestic or international travel. Aerospace is by and large in other areas as well, intergalactic, space researchers, etc. So there are larger scopes there. Every country now need to have communication as an important channel. For that, the satellites and communication has going to be a very important component as well. So there is a phenomenal career in that areas as well.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Mr. Senthil, and that's a valid point. Over to Mr. Ankur. I have a question here from Arup Mukhopadhyay, which says, in case of K-12 education in India, it appears that preference and trust of parents and students are mostly on private schools rather than government-aided or government-run schools. Whereas in the case of higher education, this is generally reverse. And I think this came up even yesterday. What do you have to say for students who are looking to choose between a government or a public institution and a private institution? What's your piece of advice for them if they already know which course they would like to go for?
Thank you for that question, Dr. Ashwin. Yeah, that's a nice insight, and I probably read that somewhere back 5-6 months back also about this insight. But yeah, that's the scenario, and that is the scenario because we know the situation of the universities in our country. Out of 800 plus universities that are there in the private and the public sector combined, the public sector universities seem to be lagging. We do have IITs and Delhi University and Mumbai University and some very good universities, but they are not enough for the kind of population that we have. We all know the cutoffs of Delhi University, 98% plus cutoffs, which is even after getting 95. And I meet these students every day. We are doing the admission process in Jindal, wherein you call that student up and they say, sir, I got 93%. I'm not happy. I said, you are 93%. You should be happy. Why are you depressed? No, I will not be able to make that cutoff of 98% for Delhi University. Now, that is not the situation that we want our kids to be in. And if the government universities are not able to fulfill that demand, definitely the private universities will come in. Coming to the admission criteria, one is the factor of demand versus supply. We already have very few good public institutions that can satisfy our student body. The other important factor is the changing curriculum, which is revolutionizing the world. We are currently in a pandemic, and definitely when we come out of it, there will be a lot of changes required in our curriculum. Unfortunately, a lot of our public universities have not updated their curriculum, or you all know the public. You all know yesterday itself there was a news that there is a case been filed in Supreme Court against the UGC directive of conducting examinations in person. So while private universities like ours have already conducted a semester examination, given out the result, the public institutions still are struggling with whether to conduct those exams or not conduct those exams. I have students in my postgraduate courses who have applied who are uncertain now because they have not given their exams. Now, this is again not the fault of that student that could not give the final year examination and is not eligible to get his degree to pursue further education or job. So I think this is basically service-oriented industry. The education industry, the higher education sector in India is undergoing transformation. More private universities are welcome. We all know the Institute of Eminence list that has come up with the government of India, where they have encouraging private sector investment in the higher education sector, and we will feel that there will be more and more private universities being set up. If they are top quality global ranked institutions, they should look at it. But if there are some very bad players also, so I think jurisprudence of the parents is required on the kind of institution, the kind of, and I said in my previous remarks, the 6 parameters, the alumni, the faculty, the curriculum, the infrastructure, the global mobility, those all factors should be evaluated. It should not be based on public or private.
Okay, perfect.
Ashwin, I just want to add here, because one big picture we are missing out is the fact that when you look at, it's not about public, private or deemed, it's about also the fees that a student have to pay. So primarily, if you look at, people know that best of the higher level, more than 50% of higher level institutions right now are private, that we are all aware of. But one of the answers for that, I must tell you, the struggle is when you have to pay a better price for a great infrastructure or the kind of exposure that a great high level, state-of-the-art private university is able to offer. I think that way our banking and financial institutions have really come up with great schemes, up to 7 lakhs. Let me tell you, for the public, up to 7 lakhs, you don't need a collateral, so you are able to easily get bank loans and support. So looking at that is one very big factor for the masses. If you look at the overall average income in India, and so one of the concerns of parents when they have maybe 2-3 children and then they have to send them, so that becomes a big cost is a factor. So where I think slowly parents are aware, schools are aware, and for the very top ranked students, they are getting scholarships. For example, we know that, even at our university, we are offering great scholarship. So people at a higher got more than say 90%, but less than that cutoff, and they are bright, so they are able to get scholarship. So one choice is that you have is taking good loans from the government, which you're able to repay, because most of the professional courses, you're going to get a job after that. Second would be that where you're able to bag a scholarship. And finally, it is also a kind of a ROI, because possibly if you go into a good institution, your higher education may become very good. So you maybe get, because one of our scholars, let me put on record, one of my scholars from Kashmir, she did a master's in economics from Amity University, Gurugram, and she just got a seat at University of Oxford, United Kingdom. So these are some of the stories that inspire all of us. So I think this is what I think I want these students to know. Find out what is the solution. Of course, if you get into a top public university, go ahead. But then otherwise, there are some of the ways that you can get an answer.
Thank you so much, Dr. Banerjee. I'm putting the question back to you. International or Indian? What is your suggestion, or what is your take on this? Because I have several students asking they would like to do their masters abroad or so on. So how should students go abroad selecting this?
When I saw this question, like it was coming, I was wondering, why are we asking this question? First of all, that was on my mind. But then I realized that, first of all, let me tell you, I believe in the decision making should come from the students, because till the India, we have a more protective environment that most of the decisions are made by the parents. But it is very important, especially when after K-12, when you go into higher education, you should be able to do kind of a goal setting for your own self. If your goal setting suggests that you have created a design for life, that what are going to be your short-term goals, long-term goals. Depending on that, you can decide whether you want to do an undergraduate in India and move out to a higher institution abroad, to a master's where there are many more scholarships available. For example, if you see whether in US or in UK, the amount of scholarships that you get in undergraduate is very less. So most of them are not sponsored. So there is a lot of cost. However, one good part is if you are coming out with an undergraduate course, for example, in United Kingdom, now, for example, the government there have created avenue where even after 2 years after completing the course, you can stay there and work on internships till you get a job. So I think you have to really weigh out what you want. So, but I believe that a global exposure is important, but that can happen through getting into a good institution here, and then you go and spend a semester abroad, or do an exchange program. Or the third could be if you feel that, yes, I want to pursue a certain course which is not available and I may get a better exposure because of it, a very high rank program, top 10 universities in the world, go ahead and do it. So choose the right institutions. If you get a very top institution in the world, why not? You must do it. And don't worry about these times. All universities, we are in touch with many universities because where they are helping the students initially to move on from an online to then a hybrid structure. So this shall also pass. So, and some of the undergraduates where it is a very technically heavy real-time classroom and lab experience, a lot of people have moved for a deferred year also. But many universities like Oxford, Cambridge, they're not offering a deferred admissions even, or LSC even for the master's level students. So depending on if you want to go abroad, choose the best. That's one of my message to you.
Indeed. So I would like to put a question to Ankur. International versus Indian, what do you think? I mean, I'm going to go one more level there. Can Indian institutions offer the same level of international quality, I would say? Perhaps not the work environment, but at least maybe the quality of education.
Absolutely, yes. That is a question that a lot of our students, and I do recruit about 1,200 students for undergraduate programs at OP Jindal Global University. And if you talk to those students, almost 75% of them have OP Jindal as one of their options, apart from their US and UK or Canadian universities that they are applying to. And why is that? Because already you are seeing, and we are one of them, there are new age institutions in India who are providing access to education, curriculum, delivery of education, and international student mobility, which is at par with any other foreign university. And I dare I say, better than some of the tier 2 universities and tier 3 universities in the West. We are now competing now. OP Jindal is a QS ranked top 700 university, top 800 university in the world in the 10 years that we have been. So in the decade, we have already amongst the top 800 universities in the world. Our faculty set, if you go back to that faculty set, you will see full-time faculty from Columbia, Harvard, Yale, Stanford teaching. The curriculum, the peers, my colleagues were mentioning the peer students. Our students are some of the best students from the country who make it as lively a campus, and not only the country, from abroad as well. We have international students who come from abroad. I have citizens from US, UK, Canada who have Canadian passport holders that come to Jindal because of the cost factor. When they can get the same education in quarter of a cost of a Canadian or US university, they do come and stay with us. So I think, and there are many other universities in India that are doing similar phenomenal good work. It's just a matter of finding those universities out. We will be happy at Jindal to, take, and we already are taking students who had plans. And this COVID pandemic has another opportunity. I tell my students, I just take 30 seconds. that even if you are not going to go abroad for full time for undergraduate program, we send every semester 150 to 200 students abroad on exchange programs, and these are curated programs for course curated programs for our students to Oxford and Harvard and Yale and Sciences. So those kind of opportunities are available to students. Our double degree programs, I think the access to higher education, quality higher education, world-class education is now available within the country itself. That's my answer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ankur. And I think both Dr. Banerjee and Dr. Ankur have said that, we do have the kind of institutions in India to offer. So I'd like to go to Dr. Ahmad, and along with you, would like to contemplate a little bit on international versus Indian. But I also have another question for you from Prabha Dunoa, which says, I agree with the concerns Dr. Tabrez has raised about online teaching and learning, but we cannot help having this situation. How do you think these issues can be addressed? The question is a bit incomplete, but I think that's how it's been framed. But perhaps if you like to touch upon international and Indian and see how do we evaluate online offerings between the two, and you'd like to answer this question, Dr. Ahmad, please.
So I just want to the question raised by the Padma regarding the ROI. I think very important area, because see, if you see Indian scenario, very few are able to get the quality education, and also the kind of ROI they are getting is not justified, because if you see the Indian market, the kind of salary is paid by the corporate world and also by the government, and the kind of investment they're making for getting the higher education, it is a big gap. So being the private versus government, what will happen, being the private, they have more responsibility to at least justify the ROI and try to run those courses and more focus on the skill. Because only having the very good campus and also having very good library and all will not help unless we are able to really skill the student and try to match with the industry oriented courses, so they will be able to get jobs in the market. Because mostly the middle class, they are suffering about the job prospects and all. And the COVID-19 has given more challenges, because the kind of the scenario is taking place, it is going to have more challenges about the employment. Regarding the foreign universities, sometime we have to see that why they are going to the foreign universities. It has the various aspects. Some of the students who are from the very prime background, they are very rich. They go to foreign universities just to maintain the family line, just to showcase that they are qualified in the foreign universities, just to like this. But some students who are really bright, they are getting the scholarship, they are going to the foreign universities, and it's very, very limited number. And sometimes because of lack of information, because I visited to almost all the developed countries, USA, UK, Japan, China, all these places. I met the university, went to Oxford also, and all these places. Sometimes what happens, some of the areas, some of the courses, it is not that every university is based in all the courses. So if you are going to choose a foreign university, because they may be having very good in one subject, may not be good in other subject. So one selection is that you must see which program you want to do, and then by program wise you have to select the foreign universities. Because for example, if you want to go and become one of the very good lawyer, you have to select accordingly. Even in law, you want to become good in IPR or cyber law, you have to select university accordingly. So that's why program wise selection is very, very important, because every university is not perfect in all the courses, in all the programs. Second thing is that regarding this, just holding a degree will not help them to, if somebody has got degree from some universities, it is not going to help unless that particular person is also having the innovations or kind of the, he is very creative or able to solve the problems. So some of the skills are very, very fundamental in all the areas, because every area required a lot of the innovations and thought process. So this way, the student who are actually going to take admission in the foreign universities, they have to do proper search and proper planning, because they are going to invest very heavy price, and ROI is always relevant for any middle class student who are going to join the foreign universities.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmed. A valid message there. First, find out what your specialization is, because not every foreign university is great. Look at data points. There are several data points available during the virtual admissions fair. Ask questions. There's information on various accreditations the institution has, the rankings they hold, the ratings they hold, and so on. And then try to shortlist the institutions which you're good at. I have a question here coming in from Manan Baweja, which, and I'll put it to Mr. Senthil. Again, it's on the abroad international thing. It says, what is more better, an undergraduate program abroad or a postgraduate program abroad? I think it's a bit more subjective answer question there.
And most of the people ask this question. And I would put it, PG would be much opt in the, not only in the current situation, but in more obvious, because in undergrad level, you are still in very early stage in exploring your higher education in the first time. You will have your do's and don'ts, liking, because most of the choices made without deep diving in it. So once you have that set idea and the foundation, then application in the specialization in higher education in the PG level makes much more of. Second, to add with it, because a lot of time we change our minds, change our program, change, because it's a personalized education, what you want to study and how you want to accumulate your credit program and how you want to holistically build your profile. That's broadly based on that. So PG will be much more apt because you will be much more informed. You'll be aware about what you want to do. Second, as earlier panelist said, most of the good scholarships are available in the PG level. UG level, you need to invest more. So considering that factor, then PG makes much more sense. And altogether, another point, it also depends on what program you want to do. Certain program on certain professional aspects, if you do, then the validity in Indian context is also need to be checked, be it in terms of certain areas like medicine or law, etc. In case they don't have then approval, then practicing in India becomes a problem. So you need to do that groundwork before understanding that. Then you need to offer it. So it is program based. Then it is gives you a broader understanding in the more matured sense to apply between your concept and application at the PG level. It makes holistic approach to choose in the PG stage much appropriately rather than the UG level.
Indeed, if Mr. Ankur also would like to take the question on, which one do you suggest abroad, or do you suggest both should be in India, if that's the case? I would like to hear from you.
Yeah, I think postgraduate, as I agree with Senthil, the undergraduate programs can be done in India, but then it depends on the kind of universities that you plan to get into. If those are globally ranked institutions, top 200 universities, QS ranked universities in the world, then probably, and you're getting good scholarships. So it depends on a lot of those factors. Then it probably makes sense for going for the undergraduate program. But generally speaking, the trend is that students go abroad for postgraduate programs. That is the trend in my university as well, to be very frank. We are an undergraduate heavy university. We have a lot of undergraduate programs and a few postgraduate programs. That's nothing to take away from those programs, but then that's the general trend that we are seeing at JGU, that and our students have been going abroad to Ivy League institutions, to Oxford and Yale and Harvard and all these places, doing fantastic programs and full scholarships. So I think the opportunities are more in terms of scholarships also for the postgraduate programs rather than the undergraduate programs. And also keeping in mind the post-study options and the courses that you get into, those are also more available for the postgraduate students. So I will say that postgraduate will be a much better thing, but then it depends on the situation also, the kind of universities that they're getting.
Ashwin, I would like to clarify, because although I said earlier that yes, scholarships are much more available at postgraduate level, but if you are doing it typically a professional program and where you have an avenue where you have a great job placement, for example, any student who does say an MBBS program in United Kingdom, they get a job, they're placed immediately. So, but typically these are very good niche programs which one has to identify. Otherwise, like somebody else also mentioned, if you do not do a program which has a significance and across the globe it has weightage, then there is a problem that we are looking at. And in that context, I want to add that, we also offer program like, twinning program, where a student who comes into a course and then you have an avenue to go to some other university abroad in the last 2 years or 1 year. So even then that is an option that you save some money in the initial 2 years that you study in India, and the final 2 years you go abroad and complete the degree from that university. So there are large number of now options available to students. Either you do an undergraduate in a program in a good university here, go, and if you are able to get good funding, might as well. So there are large number of options available to students. So you have to see what you want. Are you looking at overall impact in the university that you're going to come out with, a best top ranked university in the world, and through there you can go to another very good university, or you're looking at a degree to come back and work in a corporate sector here. So there are a large number of good high level institutions here itself where you get a robust curriculum, great degree offerings in the universities in India. So I think all those options one needs to weigh.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Dr. Banerjee. I'd like to ask you another question though here is, I know Amity does offer mass media courses, and I think probably you're apt for this. I have a question from an anonymous attendee which says, what is the scope of a mass media course? And you can elaborate more on a career and so on.
I think it's a great question, but maybe let me be more specific. It could be an undergraduate program or a postgraduate. Now, which you typically offer is BA in Mass Communication and Journalism or MA in Mass Communication and Journalism. At least for the last few years, new media has become a very important vertical, and where a student is learning new media in terms of online journalism and all of the television, broadcast journalism, filmmaking. So there is a lot of scope in that area that people who are doing such programs are able to get into different industries in the journalism, in the broadcast journalism, print media, or they can even specialize and work in the area of, say, public policy. People are graduating and moving into other streams as well. A lot of people, even after an undergraduate course on, say, journalism, they do a minor in management and they get into other areas where into the consulting companies as well. So there is a wide scope. And some of the popular programs in journalism and mass communication, allied programs are programs on, say, animation, which is again a popular program now. So it's a popular course. A large number of students also attend the course.
Ashwin, also this GD Goenka University also have the School of Media and Communication, and also we strongly run all kind of verticals in this area. This is a very important area to explore because the way market is changing and everything is now going to the media. And currently, if you see, earlier days, this were not specialized program, and people who were actually running the media, they were not very specialized. So keeping in mind the new developments, this is a very good area to explore. And on career aspects is a very good for career prospects. And also we are running at the UG level, PG level, so a PhD program in this area. So GD Goenka University is very good, and also the kind of location and ambience we have in our campus. This is a good place to explore. So all the people who are planning to see, they can explore also GD Goenka University, and they can go to our website and explore all these programs.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Dr. Ahmad. Mr. Senthil, I have a very interesting question for you from Misalan True, which says, it's on ROI, and I think your experience of so many years will help us here. It says, how much should I invest in my UG, BCom/BBA? Is it good to invest more than 5 lakhs? Will it be a good investment if I'm planning to do a PG after my UG, or should I invest between 3 or 4 lakhs for UG and invest more on my PG? I mean, that's a very calculative question. So over to you.
Okay. First of all, it is not the cost which determines your course or the campus. What determines the right question to ask in because most of the institution follows a cross subsidization model. Everybody is not going to pay the same fees. It means most of the students also get a lot of scholarship. The right question to ask is, what is a scholarship and how to apply for scholarship? Most of the people, and they want to do a program, they apply for the institution, they miss out on the scholarship option. They don't do that. Then the last minute, they try to see that after the deadlines are over, I can apply for it. So when you decide about an institution and a program, immediately look for what the institution is offering in terms of scholarship. So everyone need an academically inclined, every institution in India and in the world need an academically inclined person. For him, cost is not the matter. So because they're going to follow cross subsidization model, they're going to be an academically inclined person is going to pay a lesser amount. So applying for the scholarship will largely help him. And secondly, coming to the UG and PG perspective, it is not the one factor which puts in, like for example, one of the question most of the people ask is, by joining this, what job I will get. The ROI factor is not impacted to the placements you get. It's about the skill you develop there, the learning you get there, the amount of knowledge accumulation you get there. So that's the cost which he is going to put in. Higher education institution is not equivalent to placements. Let me be put it very clear, blunt, and honest. It's the skill you get in, the industry is going to pick you up because you as a person, you develop that. So investing, should I invest high cost in UG, high cost in PG? What should he do? It depends on purely personal specific. To me, he should choose an institution which can add more skills and create this person as a robust person rather than where to invest more or lesser. So that should be the right point to thought.
Did anybody else in the panel would like
to clarify?
Sure.
Ashwin, just to clarify, where great points come through the earlier panelist. I just want to add that BCom programs are always cheaper than BBA programs. Just to answer the student, that if you're typically choosing an undergraduate program in BCom versus BBA, so BCom will definitely be a cheaper program in most universities. And a lot of people like to do a BCom, move on to a MBA. And some people who want to go for job options, they do a BBA, then go for a professional work experience, and then move on for an MBA. That's all.
Oh, very good advice. So yes, Mr. Ankur?
So for us at OP General, we have both the programs, BCom and BBA, but I agree with Senthil and go back to my previous answers. You should, we are not placement agencies. You should look at the kind of curriculum, the faculty, the skills that you will get in those 3 years, and the university that will stay with you for their lifetime. You will become an alumni of that institution, and the kind of opportunities that maybe these universities can bring to you in both in terms of job placements, career guidance, and also, you know, higher education placements. So we do have those international tie-ups as well that I talked about. So ROI will be a very rough term to use, but coming to Dr. Padmakali's point about BCom and BBA, yes, generally that is the trend that, you know, BComs are generally cheaper, but then at what cost? BCom is like, you know, standard degree for commerce. Every nook and corner of India has a BCom degree college or a BA college. But does it have the infrastructure to support learning? Does it have the faculty? Does it have the curriculum? For a fact, my BCom and BBA, there is no fee difference, because we say that our BCom program is at par with the BBA degree. There is a difference of student who should pursue BBA, and there is a different kind of student who should pursue BCom. So we counsel students accordingly, but we make sure that they get the best of opportunities in both the programs. So that is what I wanted to share.
So Ankur, I'd like to ask you before that, Ankur, if you would add, who should select a BCom and who should select a BBA?
So it's pretty simple. BBA is like, this is a question that we get because we also have a BA honors in economics, BCom. We also have BA honors social science, political science. The students come to us. Generally, the student will come to us, sir, BBA karna hai. And when you dig deeper and you ask, why do you want to pursue BBA? Do you know what is BBA about? No, sir, I just know India commerce. You either do BCom or BBA. I am more comfortable with BBA because it's a general subject. It's like management, and I can go through it because I am afraid of accounts. I'm afraid of numbers. I don't want to get into maths. So those kind of, definitely that's a first, you know, initially they auto deselect themselves that I don't like maths. So probably BCom should not be the course for me. BBA is the course for me. But let me tell you, if you do a BBA in finance, then probably you have a lot of maths to be done there as well. And we have students who are interested probably in finance, economics, those kind of programs that do also end up taking BBA that we have. But if you are definitely, you know, more of a chartered accounting kind of a person, you want to do finance with more numbers and not management part of it, because BBA does have a lot of subjects related to management, general management. BCom is the program for you. So we have a tie-ups like with ACCA and those kind of, you know, accounting kind of programs in association with our BCom program. So that is what I see. If you are more interested in accounting, numbers, CA, financial accounting, those kind of probably careers, then CA, BCom is the course for you. If you're more interested in management, in marketing and operations and understanding operation chain management, those kind of programs. So there's a different set, but generally in India, people auto select BBA and then we do their selection when they come to our office that you should go for this program and that program.
Thank you. That answers the question of Siddharth Nair, who had been asking about the scope of BCom honors. Thank you so much, Mr. Ankur. Mr. Senthil, you wanted to say something, and I
want to add to this BCom or a BBA, the $1 million question. So it primarily boils down to what you want to do. So the ultimate results falls in there. And secondly, future is going to be for specialists. So if you believe that you want to do certain things, pick up at early stage. Because if you want to do certain areas, this is my aspiration, this is my interest, take it at the UG level. So for example, in UPS, BBA has around 16 specialization. So if you want to choose, and if you identified your area very well, start at the early stage. So that's the right indicator.
Perfect. Thank you. We'll move on from BBA into cyber law. I have a question for Dr. Ahmad here, his specialization area. The question coming from Anjali. What is the scope of cyber law? Would you like to take this question?
See, cyber law is one of the very important areas to explore, because what is happening, all the traditional things are shifting to cyberspace, all the cyber crime, cyber security, all the violations are happening, and now everything will be governed by the AI, blockchain technology, machine learning, machine designing, all are happening. So in coming days, everything is now shifted from traditional to the cyberspace, and cyber security is a big challenge. So in future, this is a very good area to explore and become the specialist. But the issue is that it is not everybody will be able to imbibe this kind of learning and have the skill, because it requires a lot of basic knowledge in science and technology and IT. And then you should have basic law, then you can build up on the cyber law. And very few universities in the country who are really able to drive these kind of courses, because BCI, the Bar Council of India, has not made cyber law compulsory. So those who are the good law school, as an optional course, they are running and providing the kind of teaching learning process and running the programs in cyber law. So, but one very good area, because currently the Harvard Law School, they have the Society of Law and Technology, and one of the best place to explore this cyber law in the world. But slowly, all the good universities are trying to run these courses. Myself, when I started research in 1995 in the cyber law, and then I'm on the first page in the country in the cyber law and cyber security. But still at the policy level, at government level, government is not really very serious, not realize the importance of the cyber law, because now we have to make it mandatory, because every law has a cyberspace aspect. Whether even if you go to family law, because even if you're going to contract law or maybe banking law, everything is now, because all contracts become a cyber contracts, electronic contracts. Even if you go for the company law, everything is now governed by the share market is running on the demat shares are there. So my point is that every law has now the aspects of the cyberspace, but still in our legal curriculum, very few law school has touched upon the cyber law and teaching cyber law to the students. So very good area to explore, and it has very wide perspective, because currently we have seen the doubling of the cybercrime cases because of the COVID-19, because everybody shifted to their home and work from home is there. Everybody is teaching from home. So there are a lot of use of technology is there, and all the criminals who are now free could not do crime in the offline mode, shifted to the cyber space and doing the cyber crimes. So a very important area to policy making and cyber security. And also it is for everybody. Everybody should know at least basics of the cyberspace. Privacy is very important. It is at stake right now. We have seen the Zoom case is pending on the Supreme Court of India. So, but we thought it is very easy to use Zoom technology, free of cost, this and that. So my point is that very important area for policy making, for exploring, also for career prospects, and for the universities to run a lot of courses in cyberspace.
Indeed. I have a question for Sanjeev. I mean, we have so many questions from students coming on various programs. The virtual admission fair is one of its kind in India today, and offering various number of courses. Can you tell us how many programs or courses are offered on the fair? Until when is this available for students to select?
Ashwin, this fair started on Friday and it ends today at 7 p.m. So we have more than 250 courses on offer by around 30 universities. They're all top-run universities of the country. And the unique aspect of this is that we have career counselors and the admissions team available online. So all the students need to do is, from the comfort of their home, speak to the career counselors, talk to them on a video chat or on a WhatsApp chat or on an email, get all the information that they want, download brochures, get to know about the fee structure, the courses, have any queries, sort it out. And many of them are also offering scholarships. So I don't think this was prevalent even 4 months back. So this pandemic, I think, has disrupted everything. In fact, they could not even imagine that some of the top educators which are present right now on the webinar, they could listen to all of them from the comfort of their home. So I think like everybody has adopted skill sets, everything has been disrupted. So this is my message to the students: please make the best opportunity. All this while, for the last 25 years, we've been organizing education fairs and we only concentrated on getting crowd. But now we realize that we also have to evolve, and we are getting the crowd, but we are getting the crowd virtually. So while we also had to adopt, in the last 4 months, students also need to adopt with changing times and see what best can be done. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Senthil. So I'm going to make one final round with everyone. Now imagine all of you all have 60 seconds with one student in an elevator. So this is an elevator pitch, and you are allowed to sell your institution here and promote yourself. So you have 60 seconds. I'm going to clock it and I'm going to stop your 60 seconds.
Even I'm a part of it.
Indeed. Okay, so we'll do that. For everyone, 60 seconds, make your pitch to a student why they should visit your university or universities in the virtual admissions fair, and what's on offer for them. So first we'll start with Dr. Banerjee. Your 60 seconds starts now.
Yeah, so it's great. I must tell each one of you that I always believe that students have the power to decide. And I again feel that you must understand the university very well. Amity University, Haryana, which is a research and innovation driven university. We offer flexible credit system, which has a lot of, decision making with the students, where you can design your own degree. And the kind of learning that you have along with your core areas, you're able to choose a minor in the area of employability. The kind of international exposure is great. You have great peer group and the state of the art campus. If you look at, we have it's a sustainable campus. It's a platinum LEED certified green campus, a beautiful campus away from the pollution of the city. We are a 110-acre campus where you have on-campus facilities. You are able to do large number of experiential learning where students run clubs which are very formally organized. We have an entrepreneurship cell. We have a great incubator. So many of you who want to start up their own companies, that's the place to be. So why not have a look, see whether you want to become one of the Amitian and shine forever. Best wishes to each one of you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Banerjee. Over to Dr. Ahmad, your 60-second pitch to students. You're muted, Dr. Ahmad.
So if you want a holistic learning and also very good ambience and good infrastructure and campus, Goenka University, Gurugram is one of the best places to explore because we have 60-acre well-built campus, and also we have students from the foreign universities. And it is truly a national kind of scene because we have faculty students from all over the country. And because the focus is on the skill orientation, they will be able to have a lot of facility for the sports. We have the Olympic size swimming pool, and also we have the riding club. So sports wise, we are one of the very established university. And then because they have to see the holistic growth, their personality should be growing. They have to have peer learning. We are very strong in the online mode. We have the remote access. We have the kind of around more than 50 foreign collaborations. They can go for the semester exchange program in the foreign universities. So whatever they want, they can explore. And also we have around 13 schools, and they can explore any kind of programs. We have a lot of open courses they can choose with the, suppose somebody is doing law. He can take one course from the School of Humanities, one course from the School of Media and Communication. So there are a lot of open courses are there. Very good gentry is there, because if you are learning
60
from
seconds
the
are up, Dr. Ahmad. I'm sorry to stop you here.
so, yeah, so the holistic learning, and also there will be a good ambience to explore the personality, very important aspect for the career development.
Very good pitch. Over to Mr. Senthil, to your pitch, 60 seconds in an elevator.
Thanks, Ashwin. We have two brands to put across. So I have Pearl Academy as well as UPS. Both of them stand for their specialization. So UPS offers around 150 specialization. Pearl offer more than 20 specialization in their niche areas. So whatever the course and choices you want to make. UPS and Pearl both known for certain broad pillars like industry connect and access. This becomes a very, very imperative, because are you industry ready is the first question most of the people want to ask themselves. So we focus on industry connect and access. And I was talking about agility and future ready. We are agile and a future ready institution to impart quality learning. Apart from that, international exposure has been a part of our system. Pearl, over 400 students every year go and study abroad. In UPS, several university interconnecting programs and bridging programs, semester exchange programs, all have been part of our unique engagement process.
Thank you so much, Mr. Senthil. Your 60 seconds are up. I'd like to be fair to everyone. Over to Mr. Ankur for your 60 seconds.
Thank you, Dr. Ashwin. My pitch is simple. If you want to study in a world-class university in India, if you want to have the best of faculty available for a particular course, not only in the country, but from across the world, you have to come to Jindal. If you want to have a great academic learning experience, apart from the residential life that we have, you have to come to Jindal. Our international collaborations are world-class, and they are with top universities. No other university has those kind of collaborations in India, with Yale to Stanford to Harvard and those kind of collaborations. If you want your careers to be world-class, then we are the option for you. If you want to be taught by world-class faculty, then Jindal is the option for you. If you want to be in a very competitive place, because we get 12,000 plus applications for about 1,400 seats we have, so it's not easy to get into Jindal. So getting into Jindal is a great achievement. So if you have that, I will leave it at that. We are welcomed at JGU.
Thank you so much. On time. So Sanjeev, your 60-second pitch for virtual admissions fair.
Grab a cup of steaming coffee after this webinar. Log on to virtualadmissionsfair.com. 30 universities with the admissions team are coming to your home to talk to you. Make the best opportunity. This was not possible before COVID. So make the best use of it. My 30 seconds over.
Thank you so much, Sanjeev.
You became the man of the match, Sanjeev.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Hot coffee was something which was great. And these students out there, they're all so bright. So I want to also tell them, please have a life full of fun also. So don't be too anxious, because there's so much of stress around. I can see that. Take a deep breath and feel good. So
in fact,
here, I think you can see all of them have a smiling face. So I think
in fact, I would like to further add, when I was in grade 12 and I had a senior teacher and I was also very confused about my career, I asked him, sir, please suggest me a career which will be future proof. What course should I do? I still remember the words he told me. He said that be a good man, be a good human being. There's going to be less competition and it will be future proof.
Correct.
Great. And of course, great, Ashwin. So I think we were engaged for last 1 hour. It didn't feel like. You were brilliant, managing all of us on time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And it's great to have all of you all stick to your times as well. And I enjoyed this panel. I'm sure the students enjoyed it. If students watching would like to engage with any of them, please feel free. The emails are available on the website. I think most of the esteemed panelists are on LinkedIn and Twitter. So if you can reach out to them, they'll be happy to answer questions for you. And if you have any question regarding any careers, please feel free to do that. Myself as well, I'm available on LinkedIn and Twitter. Please feel free to reach out. attend the virtual admissions fair, there's one question which I thought I should answer is a student asked sports facilities. How do I find that out? And I would like to do a 30-second pitch here is go on to www.igauge.in, because that is where you can look at university facilities and see the rating of those facilities as well. Not just facilities, but also whether the university is good in social responsibility. One of the biggest ambitions of universities is to be sustainable in the long run. So that's also available there. Have a look at the rating of various colleges and universities of India, and then come on to virtual admissions fair and enjoy your time there by 7 o'clock. So that's me thanking everyone joining us, our audience on Zoom, Facebook, and our esteemed panelists. Thank you so much. And I'm signing off here from Bangalore. Bye-bye.
I would like to thank all the panelists, especially all the students who've joined and made this session very, very interesting. My special thanks to QS iGauge and Ashwin for moderating it fantastically. And we wish you stay safe. Don't worry, everything is going to be fine.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Wish you all the best.
Thank you, Dr. Ashwin. Thank you, Sanjeev. Thank you, Affairs.
Bye-bye.